that money side of things can be pretty tough. If you get through that, the rest of it's a breeze.
You
You'll love it.
started with the fun stuff.
I started with the necessary stuff. And the challenge with it is that everybody wants to do the fun stuff like marketing and sales and all these other things that are theoretically fun. And is this actually going to open? There we go. But if you don't know the implications of what you're doing on that side of things, sometimes you can just get a whole lot more leads and start losing more money.
Yeah.
And it's really, I've just seen it play out so many times now. It's like, well, we've just got to make sure we get that piece in first. So, yes, the not so fun stuff. You guys have seen this before, so we're going to stay interactive. Yep, we're up to master your sales. Cool. Let's go through. Oh, we might as well do this part of the presentation first. So, key drivers of customer loyalty. This is from a company called Gartner in the US. And they did a study on a whole lot of clients. Admittedly, it was mainly B2B, but it definitely applies to what you guys are doing as well. So, and what they did is they basically said they were looking for the key drivers of customer loyalty, okay? And they came up with their top 4. Value to price ratio, company and brand impact. There's no worksheet for this, by the way. It's just a bit of the presentation. Product and service delivery and the purchase experience, right? And so what they found, though, was like these were the top 4. But out of the top 4, some were more important than others, right? In terms of being key drivers of customer loyalty. In other words, helping someone to buy once and maybe want to buy again or want to refer someone to you or something like that. Make sense? Right? When you look at that list, which one of those would you say is the biggest driver of customer loyalty? Chris?
4.
All 4.
Purchase experience. Number
experience.
4. Purchase
Number
experience.
4. Number 4. Purchase experience. Right. Cool. And you're cutting out a little bit, but he said it with so much confidence, hasn't he? All right. What do the rest of you guys think? So Chris says purchase experience. Some of you guys might have said this before. You agree, Charlotte?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Who else?
Yeah, I agree too.
Agree too. Cool. All right. So who else is just going to agree because Chris said it with so much confidence? All right.
It's about the sales, isn't it? Making them believe.
It's
all about the sales and making them believe.
Yeah. I don't know about making them believe. Helping them to believe. That's okay.
I feel like if they feel good about it, they're going to be more likely to want to do it again.
Cool. All right. I think you guys are onto something. All right. So, okay, this is the way it played out. So contribution to customer loyalty is the way that they kind of put it, is value to price ratio, which is what a lot of people, when I first put these slides up, a lot of people go straight to, it's value for price, right? Because it's like, what do I get for what do I pay, right? And what that came in is 9% in terms of contribution. I don't know exactly how they measured it, but they did the study. The second one, so company and brand impact came at 19%. Product and service delivery came in at 19%. And the purchase experience came in at 53% as a driver of customer loyalty, right? And I guess we're kind of in the sales module, so you kind of expect that there's going to be something like that. But I think that, like, when I first saw that, it was a surprise that it was such a big part, like it was 53% and not just a little bit ahead of the rest of them, right? And so, look, I've probably got some theories as to maybe why this is the case. The first one is, if the customer experience, if the purchase experience sucks, right? If that doesn't work very well, then you're probably not going to get the first opportunity, let alone the second opportunity. And people talk a lot about, when I ask a lot of builders and tradies, it's like, what's the difference between you and the next person, right? And they're like, well, we do better quality work. Well, nobody gets to see your better quality work. The thing that they get to see first is the purchase experience. So nobody actually gets to experience your better quality work unless the purchase experience is great. Make sense? And I've also spoken with a lot of consumers who've regretted going with the person who had an awesome purchase experience because they're like, I think they were they just had a great sales process and nothing else, right? So you kind of need to have both So we're not saying you just have that and then nothing else, but it's like, it's definitely important. Cool. All right. So the components of that. So then they kind of broke down, well, what does this mean to the consumer? Right? You guys can take notes here, or you can take a screenshot, whatever you want, right? Offers unique, valuable perspectives on the market, right? And the market being your area of expertise, right? So if you're a builder, if you're like whatever your trade is, you need to be able to offer unique valuable perspectives on that. Helps me navigate the alternatives. It's like, well, there's a whole lot of stuff out there. I mean, we're not exactly starved for choice in most things these days, and we need somebody to help us to navigate the alternatives. Agreed? Helps me to avoid potential landmines. Right? It's like, well, helps me to make sure that I don't go the wrong way. Help point me in the right direction. Help me make sure I don't do the wrong things. Educates me on new issues and outcomes. So new things to market. But it's just basically, this is the education aspect of what you guys are doing, right? And this all can happen in sales, and it can also happen in the marketing side of things, mind you, but definitely a lot of it needs to happen in the sales. The larger the sale is, the more important this stuff is. You guys, does that make sense? It's like, the more money somebody's spending, the more, the better this needs to be, the better your sales process needs to be. All right. 4 benefits of I call it a streamlined sales process. Probably, maybe it needs to be an effective sales process, right? The first benefit is you'll increase conversion rates. Okay. So it's like for every lead that comes in, you're likely to convert more of them. The second one is you'll increase sales velocity, right? Who's heard the term sales velocity? Oh, okay, cool. You guys all know conversion rates though, right? Give me a thumbs up for conversion rates. Yeah, cool. Good. All right. So sales velocity is simply how long it takes you to get the sale, right? A really good sales process will help the sale happen faster. Okay. Increased perceived value. Sales process is an interesting opportunity because it's one place that you get to increase the perceived value of what you do and not necessarily have to deliver anything more. Ever thought about that? Right? Just by spending a bit more time in the sale or making sure that you've got a better process, you can increase the perceived value of what you do and not necessarily spend more on delivery. It's a very interesting place. Okay? And by the way, how many successful businesses have you seen like that? I mean, you can talk about big brands and things like that, but successful businesses selling high dollar value items or things like what you guys do, right? So successful businesses that are similar to you guys in terms of their trades, their builders, or they're in a similar kind of, they sell a similar kind of product or service. How many of those types of businesses have you seen that don't have a good sales process? Right? Like, for instance, the big builders have a lot of sales process going on. They've got a lot of salespeople. Right? There's a lot of really, like, this is not a mistake. This is not just luck, right? Another part which I think is overlooked to a large degree is that by having a really good sales process, you actually get to spend more time with qualified prospects, right? The people who are actually qualified. So a good sales process will qualify people very quickly, and it means that instead of spending time with share your time around with everybody, you get to spend more of the time with the qualified people. Making sense? All right. So the first bit I really want to deliver tonight. Let's deliver this bit. So has anyone ever felt like this? They always focus on the price. Yep, cool. So here's one of the things I find myself saying a lot since I started coaching really is, in the absence of anything else to focus on, we always focus on the price. Right? Think about that. If there's nothing else to focus on, so if you go into a shop and you see 2 items side by side, they look identical, and one costs more than the other, what are you going to buy? Like I call it, I generally give an example of apples, right? You see like one apple is, twice the price of the other apple. Are you going to go and buy, if they look the same, you're going to go and buy the apple that's twice the price? And nobody is, right? And somebody in that shop can scream at you that apple is better quality as much as they want, but you're not going to pay twice as much. Agreed? Right? So in the absence of anything else to focus on, we're always going to focus on the price. Okay? So then the question is, what else are you giving them to actually focus on? So in other words, let's just talk quickly about quotes, right? Right? What are you guys including currently in your quotes?
So we provide clients. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go.
You go.
Go first, Shelley. We'll come back.
We provide clients with a estimation breakdown, so it gives them a spreadsheet,
Yep.
essentially a PDF really version of it, with a
Yep.
breakdown of percentage and amount associated to each item. So then they've got that
Mhm.
to sort of compare to other quotes,
Mhm.
so they can see how much money's of their estimation's been allocated where and how.
Okay, cool.
That's pretty much it.
So nothing else is going in there?
No.
By the way, you're still calling them quotes?
The estimations, I don't know. What is
Are
calling
they
them?
estimates or quotes or something else?
No, I think it's an estimation,
Okay.
preliminary estimation.
Oh, so it's a preliminary estimate. Is that after you've gone through? Because I think Mark was using a quantity survey or something.
Yes. Yeah, he still does.
Does that include that?
Yes.
The document includes that.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a client breakdown.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm trying to get to here is probably the worst thing you can do is call them quotes. One thing you can do immediately, particularly if you want to increase the perceived value of something. Let me ask you guys a question. What is the perceived value of a quote?
Not much.
Not much,
Free.
right? Great. Why is that? Because let's just say if you have a look at all of your competitors' websites, right? More than likely, 90% of them will have two words on them. Free
quote.
Right? You guys have all seen it. And the
No
challenge.
obligation.
What's that?
No obligation is the other one.
No obligation. So it's like 4 words, right? But those 2 words, free quote, what's happened is your entire market has been educated for a very long time that quotes are free and have zero value. So one of the instant hacks that you can put in place is call it something different. Now, an estimation is definitely better. Proposal, like something
Client proposal is what he calls it.
Something that indicates it's called a client proposal. I was going to say, I reckon Mark changed it.
Yeah, it's called a client proposal. It is. Yeah.
I'm really happy about that piece that he's actually changed it. Right. So instant hack, it's like change the name of it. Seriously. Like quotes have zero value. Change the name of it. But with the name of it, just change the way that it's formatted, change the way that it looks. It has to look like it provides some value, right? Cool?
Yeah, he does present it with a cover page and a company thing at the front and a picture of their plans and stuff.
Yes.
But essentially it's a spreadsheet with a couple of other pages included.
Essentially that's true, right? But let's just go a little bit deeper into this, because what are some other things that we can do to increase perceived value, like just at that stage, just by like we're sending someone out a quote, right? And again, this question here, what else are you giving them to focus on? And so what I would highly recommend is if you're sending out a lot of quotes and things like that, it's really easy to put testimonials into those. Otherwise known in the marketing world as social proof. If you don't have social proof on as much of your, most people have got them on their websites. Have you guys got them on your websites? Yep. Why not in your sales documentation? Right? Quotes, proposals, estimates, whatever they are, right? It's like, I can now see that somebody else has gone here before and paid these people and they've done a great job. Amazing, right? So that could be, the testimonials could be in the actual document, you could put a link into so that they can look at your Google reviews if you've got lots of those. Whatever it is, social proof. So some really simple things like that. And then here's another one that's probably the simplest hack that I think nobody really does. It's like, if it's a high value item, so for low value items, it's like, well, you know, you're not going to do this for a $200 job, okay? But you would do it for a $20,000 job. And that is, and probably even less than that, actually, let's be honest. So what about a very brief overview of your understanding of what the client actually wanted in the first place? Like 3 or 4 sentences for a small job, 3 or 4 paragraphs for a larger job, right? These are really, really simple things. And all of a sudden, right, because yes, everyone's going to look at the price. But if they're just comparing your price with somebody else's price, you're only battling on price. So if you've got nothing else in there, the only thing they can focus on is price. Is that fair to say? So at least we're going to try to give them something else to focus on. Right? They're really, really simple things that you guys could do really quickly. Cool? All right. So let's get to the end of this part of the presentation. So what we're talking about here is selling the gap. So I think it's fair to say that people only buy when there's a gap between where they are and where they want to be. Think about that. Most people have never kind of thought about this concept, right? People only buy when there's a gap between where they are and where they want to be. Does that make sense? So your job, the job of your sales process, is to highlight the gap, right? Between where they are, where they want to be, and position yourself as the solution to get them there. It's a big high level kind of concept, right? But as we go through, hopefully it'll make more and more sense. You'll be able to implement a few things. Cool? All right, let's talk a little bit about some sales language. Oh, where is it? Okay, Warren Buffett. What price is what you pay, value is what you get. Right?